Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. Welcome to today's video where I'm going to be giving you a tour of the Udaya resort here in Ubud, which is in Bali. And I'm here doing a series of videos in Bali, so feel free to check those out as well. But in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a tour around the compound, and Mr. Budi, who I had a chat with for quite a while this morning, shared with me a little bit about the history of the resort and some of the care tips that they have here. So yeah, let's get this started. We're gonna start the tour of the Udaya resort right out here in the front. Actually, the front of the resort doesn't really look like much, but please do stick around the video because I'm gonna show you what the inside looks like. It's gonna blow your mind. So here is the lobby as we come in. And then that's, I guess, the check-in area. And once you come in, you are greeted by this beautiful landscape here. And they are split into two different sections. So here we have the, I guess more of the traditional resort. And back there we have some private villas, and that's where we're gonna end our tour later. It's gonna be a treat, so seriously, do stick around. So these rooms are actually quite beautiful. This hotel was built, I think, about 4 years ago. And then there's some balcony plants here, bougainvilleas, and I see some palms. We're gonna get closer looks later, but here are some calatheas. This is the Calathea zebrina. They look so happy here. That is west facing. That's crazy, that's blowing my mind because the sun actually sets over there, which means that this gets pretty harsh evening light when the sun is down, and they look just so happy. In my climate, they need to be in lower light because if you give them any kind of direct sunlight, the leaves will start curling and they would start deteriorating. So this is blowing my mind, but I know that plants actually can adapt to the space that they're given in. So if this was actually grown in bright light its whole life, maybe it is a little bit used to it. And look at how happy it is. It is flowering really, really beautifully. Very nice. Mine hasn't flowered at all. Maybe that extra bit of light is giving it the energy it needs to push out flowers. And here we have some ferns, Kadaka ferns, and this is a Cattleya orchid that was just brought in here. Actually, the care tip is to use rice water. Mr. Budi here, who's the manager, told me that he sprays this down with rice water, which means water that's been used to rinse rice that normally we would throw away, to just spray it on this orchid. And they also do use some chemical orchid fertilizer. But yeah, look at how pretty the Cattleya is. Mine is struggling really hard, so I'm happy to see it doing well here. So there are a lot of statues here in Ubud, and they live harmoniously with the plants here. And I particularly love these stone carvings with plants in it. These are aquatic plants. Look at how these guys are repelling water. Very cute. And I believe all of these actually do flower. Aquatic plants flower very, very, very beautifully. The only thing is that you may get mosquitoes because the water is stagnant. But if you throw in a fish or two, I think they will take care of the mosquitoes in there. Look, leaves are just so beautiful on these. And wait till you see that flower. I don't know what it looks like, but hang on, it's right here. Whoa, oh, voila. These are the flowers. It's not in full bloom by any means. Some of the buds are opening up like that. But imagine the whole thing, look at this whole vine of flower just blooming away. This is quite beautiful actually. I'm really rethinking aquatic plants. Look at that. I'll get into it someday. I know that I promised a lot of species that I want to learn and get into someday, but I will. So as we keep coming up these stairs, we see more of these plants. Beautiful flowers actually, and beautiful leaves. Again, they're all living in water, and this is very common here in Bali. I don't really know the species. Look at the new growth point here. Very pretty. I guess they just give this a whole haircut because it's like straight up, straightly cut across. Let me see. And when we come up, we are in the breakfast section, the Chinese lucky bamboo here. And then you're just greeted by this view here. Bam! So there's a fish pond going around here. A lot of plants, a lot of landscaping, and this isn't the best part even. But let me quickly go through what's happening here. There's bougainvilleas here on the balcony of this bedroom, and then that is actually the shower area. So there's privacy, shielded by the plants. There's some palms. I see some costas. Let me zoom in a bit. Costas. I see some Dieffenbachias. How serene is this? Look at that. This is becoming quite the holiday. I'm really glad I'm here. The roosters are crowing. And that's a yoga studio up there and fitness center. But it's very, very empty now because of COVID. So it is very quiet. But the general manager said that during non-COVID times, this hotel is packed. It's almost impossible to book. So if I were you, I would book early if you decide to come here. But yeah, just so you know, this tour is not sponsored at all. They did not give me anything. But I did run across their hotel on Instagram because I guess Instagram algorithm figured out that I was coming to Bali. So they were flashing these ads at me. And this Udaya resort, their landscaping, their visual storytelling on their Instagram really caught my eye. And I just knew that I had to come here. And they were kind enough to accommodate me and to talk to me about some of the plant care, some of the history about the plants here. So here's how that room looked like. It's so nice to have just privacy with plants instead of using the window blinds provided, even though my family is in the window blinds business. A little bit about my secret. I actually ripped out my curtain in my bedroom because I wanted to fill it with plants. I want to make sure my plants get the brightest light possible. But yeah, plants actually make really good window covering. Look at this beautiful setup right here. There's some calathea silver plate here. There are some of the easier calatheas to take care of. And they're flowering. Look at that. They're so happy here. So they actually fertilize the plants here using both the chemical means, NPK, slow release, and also they use the what do you call popo kandang here, which is basically goat or cow poop. It's been sold in bags and they actually stabilize it. So it's not supposed to be as smelly or as full of bacteria and all that stuff. So it's been stabilized. And this is quite a beautiful waterfall setting here. And the ferns here arrive here on their own. They arrive here on spores and just appear out of nowhere. And I guess they really love this kind of waterfall setting where they're always constantly getting good water movement and airflow. And then that is some massive anthurium flowers right there. This is becoming quite a joyful view to see. There are some aglaonemas tucked away here. And these calathea silver plates, they got really massive here. Look at that. Look at that fern. It's trying to unfurl. It's got a little bit of pink on it. Very, very cute. Let me see. I think this is what the adults look like. The adult fronds look like. Very pretty. And that's just the baby. I am a big fan of baby fern leaves that are going to expand in size and take over the space. There are some that's anthurium leaves from that anthurium flower that we saw earlier. They do like high latitude, I think, because right now I'm in the mountains. So the high latitude is probably very similar to the conditions where they came from originally, which is South America. And there are actually a lot of these Homalomina rubescens here around the compound. We're going to see a lot of those. And then that's a cordyline. And if you look back here, I see some pots hanging out. I guess it's the gardener section. I don't know if I should impose on them. But there, I think there are some orchids around here. And we're going to see some up close later. But yeah, and there's some Homalomina, just a baby plant hanging out here. And then this wall is just splashed with palms and this calathea silver plate. We're gonna walk down there later, but first of all, I'm gonna take you over here. There's some of these landscaping. And full disclaimer, I actually was given a private tour by Mr. Budi before the filming, so I got to see some of the highlights that he gave us. And these are some beautiful aquatic plants. I believe these are lotus, if I'm not wrong. And he did mention that cranes would fly to this resort and they would eat up the fishies. So I was like, what do you guys do about it? He said, well, they just got more fish. Oh my gosh. Okay, so these are alocasias. They're the yellow, I think variegated alocasias. And these guys, very beautiful. Very Balinese vibe. Look at that. I don't really know what this is. The leaves look a little bit like the banana, kind of, but then its growth pattern is different because they do have a main trunk and the leaves do split from both sides, both ends of the trunk, and then they flower. This flower looks a little bit like the bromeliad flower. Very pretty. Very, very peaceful here, and look at all these little fishies here. I hope that the cranes don't come and get you. Oh, and then there's that balcony again. Here we have some ferns. I believe these are orchids. Look at how tiny the flowers are on these. I'm not sure if these are orchids or something else. I think these are orchids because they're grown here. But look at the micro-sized flowers. They're so tiny. And there's so many rare orchids that I don't really know their species ID. And they're also wonderful. I love orchids grown in these mounds. So here's a common palm, and then these these ferns actually grew out of the ground. Look how nice. So they are brought here by spores. They did not come with the property, but then they just kept it here because they thought that they went well with the whole setting here. But sometimes ferns would pop randomly out of nowhere, and if it was popped up in the wrong location, they would definitely have to cut it off. And this is actually a terrestrial orchid. This is what the flower looks like. Very, very beautiful flowers. And let me show you what the base looks like here. And the leaves are really, really nice. They look like, what do you call those? Like pleated textured fabrics. Like Yoji Yamamoto did a lot of that in his collections. Pleats, I think that's what it's called. Very beautiful texture on the leaf. Very elegant orchid, a very nice terrestrial orchid that flowers quite beautifully. And this here is a plant that he called the zodiac. I hope I can get the Latin name of these somehow. But these are supposed to chase away mosquitoes. They grow very easily, they grow really fast. They always have to prune it back because this is actually a walkway right here. So you need to get them to be in line and not obstructing people. But look at the baby leaf here. They're actually very, very beautiful up close. And there's a little bit of variegation on the leaves. So we're coming into my favorite part of the resort here. This little walkway. Whoa. Oh, this is very, very highly Instagrammable. There are a lot of orchids on these trees. So when they're in flower, I'm sure there's a lot to enjoy here. And here are some adeniums, I believe. Very pretty. I think they like a little bit more sun than this because we're kind of shaded. But this guy seems to be hanging in there. Some cordylines here. And then there's some villas there. I see a peace lily flower right there. Hello. And I don't know where that leads to. But look at this right here. Look at that. This is so Instagrammable. So they did mention that they have 3 gardeners here working full-time and different shifts. And yeah, this is actually a lot of work to maintain such a big space. So you can't really tell all these beauty just by looking at the lobby of the hotel, but there's so many hidden gems here. And this is what I like about Ubud as well. There's a lot of places to discover. This place is very magical, very understated, and you really feel calm and relaxed here in Ubud rather than the vibes by the beach. So yeah, that is actually the walkway that we came down from earlier. This is very, very jungle vibes. Very pretty. Look at that above us. Oh my goodness. And that Helmalomino is so huge. And this is actually in deep shade, and they've gotten pretty big here. So something tells me that they can take a little bit of direct sunlight, but they can also take deep shade. And from what I see here is that they do really well in shade. They can get massive. And there's some glossy and beautiful Phalaenopsis orchids. I love them even without the flowers. And they just look so good everywhere around the trees. And as a plant collector, it brings me joy to see them even without the flowers, because I know that they will flower at some point, and it's just nice to have that feeling that, oh, something good's gonna happen. And here are some plants that are also in deep shade. I'm surprised that those crotons can survive here because they do like full sun. And back here we do have another walkway. Imagine walking here back to your room. How nice would that be? Very, very nice vibes here, you guys. I'm having a really good time. I believe these are all just villa entrances. So this is how guests would traverse back to their rooms. So yeah, I'm gonna actually turn back around because this is probably a dead end. They do have a few types of villas. Again, I'm not here to promote the resort, even though I do think it's beautiful and you guys should probably stay here if you want some peace and quiet. And of course, if you feel like things are safe enough where you can start traveling again. Everyone has a different definition of when that is. But let's continue down the trip here. As we come down there, it's actually the spa area. Oh, and they changed the flowers. Hang on. This morning, these were different flowers, so they just switched it out. So there is a flower section area here in Bali where they produce these, and then they would change flowers here daily. There are also these offerings that they would put in cars and on their homes every morning without fail. So Bali is a place where they really consume a lot of flowers. And also the floral arrangements in Bali, in many indoor places, do utilize like palms and things like that. They really just cut them down and use them for what do you call it, floral arrangements, because they just grow so profusely here. It's not a problem to just cut them because they'll grow right back. Look at this Phalaenopsis orchid. It's actually still a baby, still juvenile. And to continue on, up there that was where the pool was. So we're just going to go down this pathway where we will be greeted by a very, very happy looking maidenhair fern. I believe these may be the different species. I guess they're the same, but these ones have these black spots around them, which I'm wondering if it's spores. It could be. If you look up close, something dusty is on my hand. See that? That could be the spores of the maidenhair fern. Whoa, that's blowing my mind. They don't grow spores on the underside, but rather on the edges of the leaf. So beautiful. I'm gonna get pregnant. Oh my god, I need to wipe this off. Kidding. More of that Humalomina. Look at that little shoot growing. They do well both indoors and outdoors. A very, very resilient plant. And the crickets or whatever it is, it just started chirping because it wasn't this loud before. But I appreciate their humming because it really brings me to the jungle vibes. And this is what it looks like behind me. And then down here we actually do have a Stromati triostar here doing its thing. It's grown in the ground and it's doing quite well, I would say. And judging from the variegation, it is getting adequate lighting, because if you give them too low light, they will put out all green leaves. And then down here we have even more pathways to take you to some mysterious places. There's actually a philodendron here. This is actually the only philodendron that I've seen so far here in the compound. Hello. And a lot of these bird nest fern. Oh my gosh, this is so peaceful, you guys. I'm in plant heaven here. And then look at that. This is what's amazing about Bali. They don't cut down trees, but they what is the word for it? They live harmoniously with the nature here. And then here, this is an interesting, I believe this is probably an aroid. I don't know what this is, but look at the leaf shape here, and there's more of them over here. And I see the main stem back there. It's grown kind of like a Raphidophora, which is going to suggest to me that this may in fact be a Raphidophora. Maybe this is a tartusa actually. Hang on. Yeah, this is hang on. I'm trying to figure out if this is a Raphidophora or an Epipremnum pinnadum. But something tells me this is a Raphidophora tartusa. So they just really weird leaves right here. But then the bottom leaves looks, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with that. So a lot of these plants here are just endemic here because they moved in here and these plants were just basically thriving here and they didn't really do much about it. Let me show you what they look like. Bam, look at that. So these plants have been here for many, many years, doing their own things. Very, very pretty. Look at that. There are a lot of ferns, some palms, and some local trees that I'm not sure. And that's a really cool balcony with bougainville. So they shared with me that bougainvilles, they don't like to be overwatered, and you need to stress them out a bit to get them to flower. They need to be in a little bit of a drought period. And back here we have a whole sea of Homalomines. And I don't know if you can see from here, but their leaves are actually really pretty. Look at the lines on the leaves. This is a very common plant here in Bali, but then again, very beautiful. And the variegated ones are going at pretty insane prices these days. And there's some mounted plants up there, some ferns. So they definitely do move these around the resort, and they do propagate some of the plants and move them around the resort. So that's cool. You don't really need to spend too much money, I guess. If you know how to care for plants, you can always just spread them around the resort. And there's some Raphidophora back there. This, we call it the dollar Rambat here in Indonesia. They grow like weeds here, but apparently it's not easy to find overseas. But will you take a look at that? That's such a beautiful scene, and that's a river going down below me, and I'm on that bridge. This is what Ubud is basically. This sums up Ubud. There's a yoga room up there. Look at these massive banana trees. I call them bananas, but they're not necessarily bananas. They're probably in the Calathea or the ginger family, but there's so many varieties of them here. And then look at this. Look at this beauty here. Oh my god, it's so big. It's so big, you guys. This is oh my god, it's from a tree fern. I see the trunk there. This is so pretty, and they really love this waterfall. Look at how beautiful this is. There's more Homalomines, more ferns. Down here we have these plants. They look like ferns, but something tells me that they may not be ferns. I may have bought one of these in the blue form, which didn't do so well. Look at the main stem here. It's covered in these beautiful scales. Very pretty plant. And look at that. Some of the ends are a little bit different. This is a really, really intricately designed plant. Very nice. I have a feeling they're more like a terrarium type plants. Look at that. And there's some different bacchias here. Somehow they can withstand a little bit of direct sunlight here, even though they're a little bit bleached out with light green foliage. Some more crotons. Oh man, I think in this whole trip, the Homalomines are winning the award here. Look at the beauty of this plant. And that's a dried up Heliconia here. So these are all Heliconias. But look at that stream here. I want one of these back home. But there are two villas back there. And there is a flowering Heliconia over there. I'm going to zoom in. Look at that. That is so cute. And these guys are just doing so well. This cordyline fruticosa, because they really love bright light. This is traveler's palm. Really, really pretty. And then there's an orchid here that just finished flowering, but I still love you. And then let me see what else we have here. Oh, these are some calatheas that are known for its flowers. Very pretty. They have very simple foliage, but very pretty flowers. And there's some zebrinas hanging out here, and this is getting low light, which I assume is what they like, because that's in my experience. So there are some palms here, and there's some heliconias down there that are flowering. I really want this in my home. I really want these flowers. Irene from Living Around has them, and I'm always drooling whenever I see them in her background. But you kind of need a big space for them. They do grow rather big. And there is a walkway. And let me see actually, where does this lead to? I hope it's not some private thing where we are not allowed to. Oh, yeah, I believe this is a villa. This is probably a villa entrance, yeah. And there's a sign here for the room. So I'm not gonna go up there, but this is an interesting entrance walkway to your room. Look at how beautiful this is. Oh my gosh. Wait, if I come back here with like I don't know, a date or my really good friend, I will probably consider staying here. It's so nice. Look at this right here. And actually the best thing about this place is that if it rains, you're pretty much left to the elements. You're gonna need an umbrella to get out of your room, to go get a meal or whatever, which I really like. I love having these stories, these adventures. I don't like the perfect comfort that I can get, back home. So this kind of environment is sort of, I guess, a jungle adventure, I guess. And that's what some of us are here for, especially in Ubud, in Bali. I don't really know where I'm walking right now. The Mr. Booty didn't take me this way before, so I'm definitely trespassing. Maybe. That's actually another villa. Oh, and he did mention that they do provide breakfast on the pool. So they will give you a floating tray and you can have enjoy your breakfast right there. I don't know if you can see, there's actually a private pool in these villas that faces the nature. My goodness, how nice would that be? I'm really regretting not staying here now. Like, oh my gosh, I really have not done those experiences where you just have an orange juice, have your eggs and bacon right in the pool. And it's probably a very Instagrammable experience. But again, I'm here alone, so no one's here to take pictures of me or anything like that. So maybe I'll wait until after COVID. But I'm very patient, and I know that Bali will be here when we're ready to travel again. So I hope that you guys will consider coming to Bali when things open up again. And look at that, this is just so beautiful. This place is just filled with beauty. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you guys are here with me, that I'm doing these videos, because otherwise I would have been a bum here in Bali. But instead I'm working and filming. So thank you so much for being here with me. Look at this tree fern here. This is putting the new frond. I'm obsessed with them. I know I've mentioned them quite a bit in my other plant tour videos. I love the beauty of this, or rather the freakiness, but also the beauty of this plant with the spikes on its fronds. And look at that there. And I think I'm going to end this video right here with this beautiful, look at that. So I'm distracted by so many things happening around me. Look at that. But yeah, I'm going to end this video right here because I have other things that I need to catch up doing. I've got more plant tours elsewhere. So please do stay tuned to see some of my other Bali contents. I'm going to be looking at some houseplant collectors here. I'm going to be seeing some nurseries here where they supply plants to these villas. And then I'm going to probably go to a pottery place to show you what pottery looks like here. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm at Botanist on Instagram. If you want to DM me on any questions regarding plant care and propagations, I'll try my best to get back to you. Meanwhile, do take care and stay safe. I will see you in the next video. Actually, I filmed the ending of the video, but I realized that the exit in which I walk out of this resort may provide some really interesting views. So if some of y'all want to stick around and see the villa, what it looks like, that's Mr. Booty back there. What the villa looks like on my way back. Here's some extra footage for you guys. Maybe I'll come say hi to him too and let him say hi to the channel. I'm not sure if he's shy to do that or not. But yeah, I really love this bridge right here. I don't know if he's on a phone call or not. Let me sneak up behind him. Say hello. Hello. Thank you for having us. Yeah. Look at that. Look at all these statues living amongst the architecture and also the plants. Everything is in harmony here in Ubud. All is right in this world. So I'm waiting to get picked up, and it gave me another thing here. What is this? Welcome drink. The hospitality here in Bali is remarkable. I feel so grateful to be here and for you guys to be watching this all the way to the very end. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.